They never tell you the real cost. They tell you about the money, about the fame, about the applause. But they never tell you that behind the velvet rope, behind the champagne smiles and backstage passes, there's a silent transaction happening. And the price, your manhood, your integrity, your soul. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? That's not just scripture, that's prophecy. Because that's what we're watching play out right now. This ain't about gossip. This is about truth. There's something deeply spiritual happening behind closed doors in Hollywood and high places. It's not just contracts being signed. It's identities being traded. It's men, grown men, forfeiting who they are to become what the world wants. They walk in with values, but they leave with veneers. Shined up on the outside, but hollow inside. And like Terrence Howard said, once you give up your manhood, most don't recover. The parties, the favors. The shame they pretend wasn't shame. It sits in their chest like rot. It haunts them when the lights go down. It whispers in their sleep. And no drug, no award, no hit song can drown that out. Because they knew when they crossed that line. See, there's a difference between a man who walks into a room and a guy who slithers in hoping to be accepted. One carries presence, the other carries performance. And the industry, it doesn't reward presence, it rewards submission. Not the spiritual kind, but the kind that breaks your back and bends your soul. They call it opportunity, but what it really is a ritual. A slow shaving of your identity until you don't recognize yourself anymore. Until you laugh at jokes that degrade you. Until you say yes when every bone in your body is screaming no. And by the time you realize what you gave up, it's too late. You've got the house, the cars, the fans, but you lost you in the process, and some don't come back from that. They go numb, they self-medicate, they spiral. Because how do you look in the mirror after you've betrayed the man staring back? There's no Oscar big enough to replace your peace, no Billboard #1 that can silence your spirit when it's grieving, no red carpet that makes up for what you sacrificed to be there. You traded purpose for performance. You traded truth for trending. And in doing so, you handed your man card over, not to another man, but to a system that feeds on your silence. Terrence said it clearly. Once you go fluid, once you give up that foundation, you can't pull yourself back. Because being a man isn't just anatomy, it's accountability, it's principle. It's knowing when to walk away from what looks good because it ain't good. It's standing when it would be easier to kneel. It's saying no, loudly, when everyone else is whispering yes. And here's the truth nobody wants to say. The real ones get punished for that. The real ones lose deals. They get iced out. They get called difficult. They get labeled crazy. But what they don't get used. They don't get compromised. They don't get traded like merchandise in a spiritual swap meet. And that's worth everything. See, you don't have to sell your soul in one day. It happens slowly. It happens in conversations you laugh off, in favors you let slide, in moments you ignore your gut. And before you know it, you're not a man anymore. You're a puppet. And puppets don't sleep well. This ain't just about Hollywood. This is about everywhere. Every job, every industry, every system that rewards silence and punishes principle. Young men, protect your manhood. Don't let this world tell you that being fluid is growth when it's really just drift. Don't let them convince you that softening your values makes you more lovable. That compromise is the cost of greatness. It's not. Real greatness comes from alignment, not acceptance. From conviction, not compromise. From principle, not performance. You don't need their platform if it requires your silence. You don't need their invitation if it costs your identity. You've already got a divine calling, a spiritual assignment, and the moment you bend that for applause, you've already lost. So stand tall, say no with your chest, protect your soul like it's the only thing you own. Because at the end of the day, what does it profit a man? To gain all the glitz, the deals, the fame, and lose his soul in the process. That's not success. That's slavery in disguise.